She said, "Ugh, stop acting like my father." When I asked her to be responsible, I said, "Good point." When her actual father called to thank me for the financial records I'd sent him about her spending his money, she understood the difference. I, 29 male, have been with Natalie, 27, for about 2 years. We moved in together 6 months ago. What I'm about to share might make me look like the bad guy to some people, but honestly, I'm past caring. Natalie presents herself as this independent, successful woman. She drives a BMW, wears designer clothes, goes to yoga retreats, the whole 9 yards. When we first met, I assumed she had a great job. She'd mentioned working at her dad's company in business development, which sounded legit enough. Here's what I discovered after we moved in together. Business development meant she had a fake title at her father's logistics company where she showed up maybe twice a week for 2 hours to check emails. Her actual salary was $30,000 a year. But her dad, Garrett, also gave her access to company credit cards for business expenses and a personal allowance of $5 a month. I found this out by accident when she left her laptop open, and I saw her credit card statement on the screen. Wasn't snooping, was literally looking for the takeout menu she said she'd pulled up. The statement showed purchases of $1,200 at Sephora, $800 at Lululemon, $600 at some boutique, all labeled as client entertainment and business development expenses. When I asked her about it, calmly, just curious, she laughed and said her dad didn't care. He wrote everything off anyway. The real issue started 3 weeks ago. Our rent was due and she casually mentioned she couldn't cover her half because she'd had some unexpected expenses. Those expenses? A $3,000 handbag and VIP tickets to some influencer's birthday party. I said, "Nat, maybe you should budget better. You can't blow your money on luxury stuff, then not have rent." That's when she hit me with it. "Ugh, stop acting like my father. I don't need another man trying to control me." I sat there for a second, then said, "Good point. I'm nothing like your father." She took that as me backing down, even did this little satisfied smirk and said, "Exactly. So stop stressing about money. Daddy will handle it if I really need it." But here's the thing. I work in IT, specifically in data analytics, and Natalie, in her infinite wisdom, had been using our shared Wi-Fi for everything, including logging into her various accounts on multiple devices she'd leave lying around. Over the next week, I started documenting, not hacking. She literally left everything open. Her email, where she'd forward herself receipts, her photos full of screenshots of purchases, her Instagram, where she'd brag about her hauls. The numbers were insane. $31,000 in 3 months on clothes and accessories, $8,000 on restaurants and clubs, $4,500 on cosmetic treatments, all charged to either daddy's credit cards or reimbursed from the company as expenses. She also had emails with her dad's accountant pushing back when he questioned certain expenses. She'd claimed client dinners that were really girls' nights, conference fees that were music festivals, business trips that were weekend getaways with her friends. I compiled everything into a neat folder. Receipts, photos, timestamps, even her Instagram posts bragging about her purchases while tagging them girl boss, self-made, working woman. Then I found Garrett's email. Wasn't hard. Natalie had sent herself an email from his account once when she needed to approve something while he was traveling. I sent him everything with a simple note. "Mr. Garrett, your daughter and I have been together 2 years. I care about her, which is why I'm concerned about her spending habits. She recently couldn't make rent due to personal shopping. When I suggested budgeting, she told me to stop acting like her father. I'm not trying to control her, but I thought you should see how your money is being spent." The attached documents show approximately $40,000 in personal expenses charged as business expenses over the last 3 months. I'm not asking for anything, just thought you should know. Sent it Friday night. Saturday morning, Natalie's phone started blowing up. Her dad, the accountant, her mom. She was pacing around the apartment, trying to explain, getting increasingly frantic. "Someone hacked my accounts. Someone's trying to frame me. Daddy, I would never." Then her dad asked her point blank about the Hermes bag she'd posted on Instagram the day before, the one she'd expensed as client gift. She tried to say it was for a client. He asked which one. She couldn't answer. By Saturday afternoon, all her cards were frozen. Her dad called me directly that evening, thanked me for the information, said he'd suspected something, but needed proof. Apparently, the accountant had been flagging issues for months, but Natalie always had explanations. Sunday morning, Natalie confronted me. She'd figured it out. You went through my stuff. You violated my privacy. You had no right. Everything I sent was publicly posted on your Instagram or left open on our shared devices. You tried to turn my father against me. I just showed him what you were doing. If you weren't doing anything wrong, why are you upset? She completely lost it, screaming about how I ruined her life, how her dad was cutting her off, how she'd have to actually work full-time now, how he was making her pay back the $40. So you mean you'll have to? Stop acting like your father's money is yours. She threw a vase at me. Missed, but still. Update 1. So Natalie's entitlement has reached astronomical levels. After her dad cut her off, she tried several schemes. First, she attempted to get me to cover everything. Not asking, telling. She actually presented me with a budget where I would pay all rent, utilities, groceries, and give her $2,000 a month for personal maintenance because that's what couples do. When I laughed, she dead seriously said, "It's your fault I'm in this situation. You owe me." I owe you? For showing your dad the truth? For betraying me? For ruining my relationship with my family? Your relationship with your family was built on you stealing from them. It's not stealing when it's family money. Then came scheme 2. She went to her dad's office and tried to access the company account directly. Told the bank she was the new CFO. Problem was, the actual CFO was standing right there when she tried it. He'd been alerted by the bank manager and came down personally. Security had to escort her out. Her dad called me again, apologizing for her behavior and asking if I was okay. Weird position to be in. But here's where it gets absolutely unhinged. Natalie decided to throw a fundraiser for herself. I'm not kidding. She created a GoFundMe claiming she was a victim of financial abuse and workplace discrimination. Said her father and boyfriend conspired to economically trap her. She raised $300. Then people started asking questions, like why someone with a BMW and designer clothes needed emergency funds. She deleted it after someone posted screenshots of her Instagram hauls in the comments. Next, she tried to return all her recent purchases for cash. Problem? Most were bought with her dad's cards, so returns went back to those cards. The stores wouldn't give her cash. She made such a scene at Nordstrom that they banned her. Yesterday was the peak. She announced she's suing me for emotional distress and invasion of privacy. She actually found some ambulance chaser willing to take her case for a $500 retainer, which she asked me to lend her because, quote, "It's only fair since you caused this." The lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter. For what? I don't know. Existing? My lawyer friend looked at it and said it's basically legal toilet paper. No grounds for anything, but the best part? She's been trying to sell our story to drama YouTube channels as a story time about my toxic ex who manipulated my family against me. Nobody's biting because her version makes no sense. She keeps changing details and contradicting herself. Today she informed me that her new boyfriend, she met him 4 days ago on a dating app, is going to deal with me. New boyfriend is some gym bro named Trent, who apparently believes her story about being a trust fund baby whose evil ex stole her inheritance. Trent showed up at my work. Security wouldn't let him in. He waited outside for 2 hours, then left when it started raining. Real intimidating. Meanwhile, her dad has been finding more issues. Turns out she'd also been selling company equipment on Facebook Marketplace, using the company Amazon account for personal shopping, submitting fake invoices from friends' consulting companies. The total damage is around $120,000 over 2 years. Her dad's considering pressing charges but is holding off for now. She still lives here because of tenant rights, but she's been sleeping on the couch since the vase incident. Keeps saying this is temporary, that her dad will forgive her by Christmas, that this is all a misunderstanding. Reality check. Her dad changed the locks at the office, removed her from all accounts, and her mom told her she's not welcome at Thanksgiving unless she gets a real job and starts paying them back. But according to Natalie, everyone else is the problem. Update 2. The entitlement spiral concluded in spectacular fashion. After Trent the gym bro realized Natalie had no money, took him seeing her card get declined for a $12 smoothie, he ghosted her. She then pivoted to a new strategy: fake pregnancy. She texted me that she was pregnant and needed money for prenatal care. I asked for proof. She sent me a photo of a pregnancy test, with water droplets still visible on it from where she'd obviously just peed on it seconds before. Problem was, I'd had a vasectomy 3 years ago after my nephew was born, and I realized kids weren't for me. Never told her because it never came up. I replied with my medical records. She backtracked fast, claiming she meant she could be pregnant and needed money for a test. Girl couldn't even keep her lies straight. Then came the nuclear option. She tried to seduce her dad's business partner. This 58-year-old married man with grandkids. She showed up at his office in a low-cut dress, talking about how she'd always admired his business acumen and how maybe they could work together privately. He immediately called Garrett. Recorded the whole thing on his phone too, because he'd been warned she might try something stupid. That was it for her dad. He didn't press criminal charges, but he did something worse. He told the truth. To everyone. Sent an email to extended family, business associates, and family friends explaining why Natalie was no longer with the company. Laid out the theft, the false expenses, the lies, attached receipts. Her aunt, who she'd been hitting up for money, forwarded it to Natalie's sorority alumni group. You know, the one where she was always posting about being a young entrepreneur and building her empire. The humiliation was complete. She came home that night completely defeated. But not humble. Never humble. You destroyed my life. You destroyed your own life. I just stopped enabling it. My father will never forgive me. He might if you actually change. Get a real job. Pay him back. I don't know how to do anything. You have a degree. You're 27. Figure it out. She moved out 2 days later. Back to her parents' house, but she has to pay them rent. Got a job at a temp agency doing actual data entry. Makes $18 an hour. Her Instagram went private, then disappeared entirely. But here's the twist ending I didn't see coming. Garrett called me last week, offered me a job, says anyone who could compile that kind of comprehensive analysis while dealing with his daughter's chaos is someone he wants on his team. Senior analyst position, 40% pay bump from my current job. I start next month. Natalie found out through her mom, sent me a long text about how I stole her life, her family, her future. How I planned this all along to take her place. I didn't plan anything, I just stopped pretending her behavior was acceptable. Last I heard, she's still at the temp job, living at home, taking the bus because she had to sell the BMW to pay back some of what she stole. Her mom makes her show pay stubs to prove she's working. Her dad requires receipts for any money he gives her. You know what's ironic? If she'd just been honest from the start, hey, I'm figuring things out, my dad helps me financially, I wouldn't have cared. It was the lying, the entitlement, the complete lack of accountability. And that comment about me acting like her father? Turns out I'm nothing like him. He enabled her for 27 years. I just took 3 months to show him what he'd created. She still thinks she's the victim in all this. Told mutual friends I'm a manipulative monster who turned her family against her. Most of them saw her Instagram before it went dark. They know the truth. Her last message to me was, I hope you're happy working for my father at my family's company with the life that should have been mine. I am happy, actually. The job's great. Garrett's a solid boss. The pay's excellent. And I don't have to pretend anymore that watching someone blow through $40K while crying poverty is normal. Funny thing about acting like someone's father, sometimes that means being the only adult in the room willing to enforce consequences. She wanted me to stop acting like her father. Mission accomplished. I acted like someone who respects money, work, and honesty instead. Edit. Since people asked, no, I'm not dating anyone at her dad's company. That would be weird. And yes, Garrett and I maintain strict professional boundaries. He's never brought up Natalie at work, and I don't ask. Her mom did text me once to say Natalie's slowly learning to adult. Apparently she just got promoted to full-time at a different company and is proud of earning her own money. Growth, I guess. But that's her journey, not mine.